Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Golden Gloves Chat Show. With me is Damien Durandt. Damien,
Brian.
always lucky to have you in our studio. Great guy to have, great trainer, and you're doing a fantastic job as a manager and trainer. I want to chat to you about basically your whole life, your career. Let's refresh the memories of the viewers out there, the fans. There's plenty Nick Durandt fans from many years. You want to talk. Let's start with that. Let's talk about your dad, your dad's career. What is so there's always one. I've seen the Sowetan, or I've seen this paper or that paper. They say X amount of world champions he produced, X amount of SA champs between the two of you. What is the real number? Give it a
So the proper number is 38 world champions. And firstly, thank you for having me on the show. But yeah, so my dad's record is 38 world champions, 28 international champions, and 97 South African champions. A lot of people always write 95 South African champions, but the correct number is actually 97.
Fantastic. Well, that's an amazing achievement by your late dad, Nick Durandt, who died in 2017. And of course, you just adding to that, Damien. And that's why I wanted to say, well, congratulations, firstly, on you're not even in your dad's footsteps. You started as a young guy. What were you, about 14 when you started with your dad?
Yeah, I was working the corner from the age of 14.
14, and now you're 31.
Yeah, so it's also been hard on. We're going to head for 20 years.
Yeah, it's 17 years. So you're not the baby in boxing
100%.
anymore. You're becoming the man. So being in boxing now 17 years, obviously from a 14-year-old with your dad in the corner. I remember those years, this cute little oak in the corner. Unfortunately, things have changed. You're not so cute anymore. I was just joking. You've done a really great job. As I said, you're not even in your dad's footsteps anymore, which kind of was a great place to be because your dad was a superstar. You've got a world champion. You've got a WBC world champion. It doesn't get much bigger than that. Your dad would have been very proud of you. Your dad started training Elanga Junior Makabu and managing him, and then passed away, and then you took him over.
Sure.
Tell us about your world champion, Junior Makabu.
So, look, it's been a special achievement for me. Obviously, my father was the first South African trainer to produce a WBC world champion, Sugar Boy Malinga. That was back in 96. So, for me to have produced Makabu as a WBC world champion, as my first world champion, was a massive accomplishment for me as well, because I kind of repeated history. My dad doing it and then me doing it. So, it's been a massive accomplishment for me, and also the attachment that my father had with Makabu as well. He started Makabu's career, and obviously I've won the world title with Makabu, and I feel a lot of it had to do with me completing the work of my father.
Yes.
And any fighter thereafter is kind of the work that me and my team have put together going forward. So I want to produce more world champions. I feel like I accomplished that for him. Also taking on Jackson Chauke and making him SA champion, WBO global champion, WBC international champion, pushing him further than where he was with my father has also been an accomplishment for me, because I feel like I completed a lot of the efforts and the work that my dad put into the game for him. So it's great. I feel like I've continued his legacy and I'm adding to it, and a part of it I'm creating my own. So boxing is just really something special for me and my family, and it's something I hold close to my heart. You know, I never feel like I wake up and go to work, which is, I think, a great feeling, and I just love the sport and what it does for people, and how it changes lives. And that's the most amazing thing you can see, is that people come from nothing and they become somebody, and you're able to change people's lives.
Yeah, and you're doing a fantastic job out there, Damien Durandt. Let's just stick with your father for a second before we move on to the rest of your fighters. Are you a superstitious kind of guy? Do you feel like your dad's presence in the boxing gym, when you get in for a big fight like with Makabu, do you feel like Nick Durandt? Do you feel like Nick Durant's son? Because I mean, your dad really had a presence.
100%. So look, I don't know if I feel a presence, but there's moments in my career that take me back, and think about moments with my father when certain things happen in fights. It makes me think back to memories I had with him, or when you're in training camp and you're preparing for a certain fight or whatever it may be. There's things that he would have done in the gym that sometimes I look back and say, okay, let me incorporate that into training. Or if I feel like I've been through something before because I've experienced it with him, I'm able to reach back to that little like archive of history and take that bit and bring it in now. It's that experience that I gained from him that comes through, and I think that's that's what keeps me in the sport and wanting to keep producing, because I share so many moments with him that I'm able to take from and just bring it into today for me. Like I said, when I prepare fighters, it feels like um, often I have similar preparations that I had with my dad preparing other fighters, and where I see things that he did that I still do today. Maybe obviously times have changed, you bring in different things, but I did grow up around one of the greatest trainers in South African history, and there can't be anything wrong with what my dad did, and that's why I've always held on to what he did.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, you learned a lot from your dad, and you can continuing the legacy, which is brilliant. Let's talk about your gym at the Linksfield Terrace. Your dad originally built that gym, am I right?
Yes.
And you've continued it. A fantastic gym. If you've never been there, go out there and do yourself a favor if you want to train there as well.
Sure.
Linksfield Terrace, you do the personal training, and you've got a fantastic gym there, I must say. I'm very proud of you as well, seeing you grow up with Nick Durandt as your father, and you in the corner, and what you're doing for boxing. Tell us about the fighters in your Linksfield gym.
Yeah, so my gym's in Linksfield Terrace Shopping Centre. We've been there for about 5.5 years now, and I recently renovated during COVID. The gym I did build with my father in August 2016. We started operating from there from the 1st of September, and he passed away in April. And then obviously I continued to run the gym by myself and take on fighters. At the moment, I train and manage 14 professional boxers. I've got numerous fighters, some prospects for the future, some guys that need to make debuts, and then obviously a couple of champions. So the gym's continuously growing, but obviously I'm being very picky as to who I want in my gym and what I want for my gym. So things are looking good. I'm excited about this year. With regarding the boxing, I think it's going to be a very busy year. We've had a great start so far. You've seen it yourself, Brian. I think we're in for a very, very busy year.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, hasn't it? I mean, in the last just 2 weeks, we've had 5 or 6 professional boxing tournaments, of which you and I have been part of most of them. So, yeah, it's definitely boxing is booming again. A year or two ago, but they've been saying it forever, in our sport, that boxing's dying.
Sure.
For the viewers out there, boxing is definitely not dying. Boxing is pumping, it's thriving. Like I said to Kevin Larina the other day in an interview, the highest paid sportsman on the planet, including Ronaldo or anybody, is a boxer.
100%.
It's Tyson Fury. And the second highest paid sportsman is a boxer.
Definitely.
It'll be either Deontay Wilder, or it will be Canelo Alvarez,
100%,
whoever it is.
yeah.
But boxing is booming, it's thriving, and we're happy things are happening in our sport.
100%. We've also got to look at it and say the sport pays so well. We've got celebrities joining the sport as well because they know what the revenue it can generate. So boxing is not dead. We just need more exposure. I think that's the most important thing. In South Africa, we're filled with talent. We've seen it over the last couple of tournaments. There's many talented fighters in South Africa. It's about the exposure, and it's just about the growth of the fighters. And I think for us, South Africa's got very talented fighters, and I think we can produce many world champions. And it's just about being put on that international scene and bringing home those belts.
And it's really great, Damien, like you spoke about these celebrity fights and this extravaganza that we've just come back from at Sun City.
Yeah.
These superstars are one to box.
100%.
So they come into to our sport, to the sport of boxing. They want to prove themselves in boxing, and that's becoming an extravaganza. So you got these unbelievable rapper musicians that billions of people are following, and they want to be boxers. So that's great for the sport. But okay, enough of that. So we know boxing is booming. Let's talk the next big fight. 11th of June, Empress Palace on a Golden Glove show. Your man Brandon Thysse against Roarke Knapp. Roarke's done fantastically well in his last couple of fights after he lost to Brandon. It's another rematch 2.5 years later, almost 3 years. Talk to us about the big fight.
Yeah, look, Roarke's come together well since his loss to Brandon. He's had a couple of stoppages. They were supposed to fight in December. Obviously, Brandon and myself caught COVID. Fight didn't materialize. Now it's happening on the 11th of June, and we're looking forward to the fight. I just feel like this fight's always coming and it doesn't materialize.
Yeah,
And
I actually forgot about that. Unfortunately, yeah, yourself and Brandon got COVID in
Yeah.
December, and a lot of viewers don't know that and don't remember that. So the fight was going to happen in December.
100%, yeah.
So unfortunately, it didn't. But now it's back on, which is great.
It's
and
back.
I think it's a fight people want to see. The other two best junior middleweights in the country. Your man being number 1, Brandon, and Roarke being number 2. So it should be an interesting fight. Brandon has got a win. He's got a victory. So that puts him ahead, makes him the favorite.
Sure.
But you know boxing. He's on
100%.
paper, we don't know. We went to Sun City on the weekend. Your man, Dumazweni, good fighter, brilliant little fighter, doing a great job. But he got tagged. And that's, I think, what makes this fight, this sport so exciting.
100%. Anything can happen.
You can look at this piece of paper and say, that guy's had 10 fights, 10 wins. He's going to beat the guy with 2 fights and 1 win.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
100%.
They put the leather on and they get in there and they smash each other. It's a different result.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we can always look and we can look at the 2 fighters and we can say, we think this one's better than that one, but there's always a puncher's chance in boxing. And we don't know the expression, one punch can change a fight. And that's what boxing is, and that's why we love it. Its unpredictability is what keeps us in the game, and it's what keeps it alive. So for me, I look forward to the fight. I think Brandon will be in superb shape. He's already looking good in the gym, and I expect a good fight from Roarke. I'm sure he's going to come very hungry and game. He wants to beat Brandon and revenge the first fight. But there's a lot at stake here. There's the ABU title at stake. The fight's over 12 rounds, and we're looking forward to it. The winner of this will get a rating in the WBC because of ABU's affiliation to the WBC. So it's exciting. But for me, I know what the outcome of this fight. I know Brandon will stop Roarke again. I believe in him. I know he will do it. And we've seen Brandon grow from strength to strength. As much as we talk about Roarke's success since he's lost to Brandon's just knocked out everyone in front of him since Roarke. So he knocked out Roarke, he knocked out Boyd Allen, he knocked out the guy from Finland, and he's going to knock out Roarke again. So I'm looking forward to the fight, and I believe Brandon's future is at international boxing after this fight, and I know where he needs to be, and I believe he can become a world champion. He's 27 now, and the next 2 years is very important.
Well, thank you for your time, Damien Durandt.
Thank you, Brian.
Son of the legend Nick Durandt. Thank you for talking to us. It's been a nice chat. This 31-year-old man you're going to see a lot of in professional boxing. So thank you for being our guest, and we'll speak to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
From me, Brian Mitchell, thank you for watching.